ago. There was some information that the Corrections Corporation of America was supporting this draconian legislation. Do you have any?
Well, I just do a quick. National Public Radio did a series a month and a half ago, which you can find on their website, that said that basically this bill that appeared in Arizona was concocted at a national meeting of business leaders and lobbyists. And it's basically, it meets 3 or so times a year. It's a deal where the business community contributes a bunch of money. They get to invite legislators from all across the country. They bring their families, they entertain the families, and they sit in caucuses and talk about what new legislation somebody needs to draw up. And one of these meetings, Senator Pierce, I believe it is, from Nebraska, was there saying we need this kind of a law to fix the problems in Arizona. And lo and behold, lawyers for the Corrections Corporation of America said, oh, well, we can help you. We can draft that law for you. And so essentially they drafted the law, and the legislation, the model legislation they drafted, then was transported almost verbatim back to Arizona. And also, lo and behold, campaign contributions from Corrections Corporation of America began to appear there. And as this report documents, this is seen as a growth industry for the private corporation companies. That locking people up. This is they're locking up as many people as they can who are committing crimes. Now we've got to create immigration prisons. I think that's the essence. If I didn't get it right. So NPR has some very good stories if you want to look in detail. So it is there's a lot. I think, as Ruben said, you can try to talk to people and teach them facts and teach them faith and argue almost every way you can. But there's some people who aren't going to be convinced because they've got a whole different agenda. But there are people who can be convinced, and that's who we have to go after. And I just want to give you the opportunity for some next steps. This little blue sheet, which we didn't make enough of because we didn't have faith that as many of you would come, so we should know better. It has 4 things on it, and if you want to do any of these 4 things or something else, I'm going to tell you what they are, and just mark them in and leave them on the front tables or leave them by the cookies. There's 4 things you could do easily. One of them is if you would be willing to help organize, stimulate a workshop, a discussion at your congregation, if you want to have it in your Sunday school class, your youth group, whatever, we will help you get the materials you need, the discussions, talk starters, the PowerPoints for you to do it yourselves. Or if you really feel like you can't do it, we've got a little speakers bureau of people, including Sister Kathleen and Father Bob and Kelly and a bunch of others, who are willing to come out to congregations and speak if you want them. But we will also arm you to be able to do that yourselves. Secondly, we'd really like you to be part of a group that's willing to contact your senator by phone, email, postcard at the important times when they're about to take votes or a couple of weeks before, and to get your neighbors and friends, especially if you happen to be in any of the districts of these senators, but even if you're not in some of the people that could be influenced positively, that's what they respond to. If they don't hear anything from the people of their district and they only hear from the people telling them to pass this, well, they say, I guess I have to do it. Thirdly is if you would be willing to be a point person to get information into your parish bulletins or newsletters, to get it out to your network of email friends. Everybody's got Facebooks these days and lots of email contacts. If you'd be willing to do that, we would be happy periodically, regularly, to send you something, and you can decide if you want to send it out. Fourthly and finally, we do have a Just Immigration Action Team for OTOC. It's now probably about 40 people who are part of it. We meet periodically and try to think about what we could do on this issue, this particular 3 or 4 months that we're considering the state law, but we're also looking at how do we create just immigration policies in the United States and in the state of Nebraska, because this is going to end, this season will pass, but these sentiments are going to be around, and we've got to keep working at trying to come up with comprehensive immigration reform nationally and making sure that the state of Nebraska doesn't become kind of a place that fears the stranger, and that's a longer-term project. So if any of you would like to be part of that action team to help us think how to educate and agitate our neighbors to live up to our values, we'd appreciate your joining. And with that, I'll hand it back to the chair to conclude.
We want to again say our thanks to St. Pius for hosting us. It has truly been a blessing to be able to be together. We want to extend our thanks to those that have shared their expertise. Ruben, thank you for traveling to be with us this evening. Thank you to Kelly for the work on the bills and lots of information that you saw up on the screen. And I know that she said that if you have interest in getting more information, she's more than happy to help you accumulate that information for your information. With that, while we extend to you our deepest appreciation for being here this evening and trust that you will be actively involved in making a difference and in truly working to make sure that we uphold good, solid Nebraska values that treat one another as neighbor. Thanks for coming.